for the, just kind of.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. I am calling this meeting to order at 11:06. Kelly Hickey, would you like to lead us in the pledge? Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right. Perla, I will turn you on, and if I could have a roll call, please.
Ogalla. Here. Berkowitz. Brooks.
Yeah.
Bullock.
Present.
Butler.
Here.
Hickey.
Here.
Ortiz.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't see any approval of minutes, so we'll skip past that, right?
Yep.
All right.
We've got hopefully a state's attorney is, an ASA is on the road to get here. So.
Okay, moving on, no miscellaneous legislative reports, old business, discussion of drafting the federal legislative agenda. I'll open it up to you.
Okay, so, let's see. So just to be clear and to kind
It's short circuiting.
I apologize. Back in December and January, Smith Garson went and they interviewed all of the various departments just to update what was on the prior federal legislative agenda. And they updated that and they presented it to us. They worked it up and they presented it to us. And that was the foundation for the federal agenda, which was, again, presented to the committee back in June. And then after that, we put out a request for other items, other proposed additions. And Chair Ortiz had sent out a number of additions. I think Member Bullock had sent out a number of additions. And you know, you guys had begun, or the committee had begun work on that. In addition, what happened was because of the length of time that passed between December and January of this year, and now when we put out a new request for, you know, for other proposed additions, the health department and the land use department went back kind of to the drawing board and they updated everything that they had essentially. So what you've got before you now, the proposed additions from the health department and from the land use department, which you may or may not get to today, but those are all just updated versions of what essentially has happened, or addressing what's happened over the last 8 or 9 months, which have been consequential with the arrival of the new administration. So, and if anyone from the health department or land use is out there, and if I've not represented anything accurately, please let me know. That's pretty accurate? Okay, thank you. So if you get to the items from land use, the health department, there's items also from workforce services that are new. There's items from Sunny Hill, which are generalized, and there's some one item from the Will County Children's Advocacy Center. If you end up getting to those items today, we can push forward with that, or if you want to postpone those, I can go back and work with the health department and try and with land use and just try to get a better idea of a red line version of that for your next committee meeting. So.
Yeah, I mean, as you stated, we have all kinds of changes coming from all over the place. And there are specific things that I do look for. So it would make it easier for me if I knew that the changes were redlined. From most of what I looked through, I saw what I needed to see, and there weren't any changes on some of the items that I was very upset up, opposed to, I should say. So that I just would like to know that when changes are made, that they're redlined. I think that's not a uncommon practice. I think it's something that we should require.
Madam Chair, can I just, Member Butler, if I could ask, so, and I'd like to know from just like the committee in general, just so it kind of helps me in terms of doing that red line. Is the assumption for staff right now that the original version that was presented by Smith Garson was covered by the committee, and that in general, because we've gotten no feedback on the original version, is that version okay? Or should there have been changes in there? Because if they're a version.
He's not on.
Sorry. If their version is different than what we had in the previous year, then I would want red lines.
Okay.
Like I'm not looking to change everything that every committee did before us, but things that come up in current times based on whatever's happening, I would like to know if those changes are being made, and then we could address them. That's all.
Okay,
So I'm,
So if I could add, Chuck, in the past, we had last year's federal legislative agenda and the state legislative agenda. We were given those, they were in black, and any additions or changes would be in red. So that you knew what changed from, because sometimes things, like we had I-80 for a million years on the federal and state legislative agenda for the expansion of I-80. Then eventually we pulled it now because it's working, work is being done on it. So that just stayed on. So some things stay on for years and years and years for special projects. Other times it's just a short term. So it's good to see what did we have to give the legislators last year in black, and the changes or additions in red.
okay.
Because otherwise the assumption it's in black, it's not new, it's what it was. And then you don't know what we had there before.
My opinion would be opposite of that. I believe that when Smith Garson presented the agenda, everybody had ample amount of time. I mean, when did they turn it in? A couple months ago already? Maybe
It's
even
been
3.
since at least June, and maybe longer than that.
Right. So since June, we've had the time to go over that and see what they put together as a lobbyist, as the lobbyist that we pay. And if we had any problems with anything that was in there, we could have brought forward our red line additions, which is what I did. There was some stuff that they had in there that I might have crossed out and changed the wording a little bit, but so I don't feel it necessary to go back and say, hey, Smith Garson, what changes did we made from the previous year to this year? Because I know there was changes. I don't feel the need to track them. I feel that they did their job. They spoke to department heads and they created this with Will County interest in mind. So I personally wouldn't want to go back and try to redline everything that they've done. I just feel like we've got a lot of red lines already. We're trying to get through these. If we didn't read the original document that they sent over, I feel like that's on us. So if we had problems with it, we should have spoke up and
So then we would
Made that
need to
clear.
have the previous, I'm sorry, we're the chair and vice chair, we can speak first. So then we would have to have the previous federal legislative agenda and be comparing it to whatever they presented in June. I don't think that some members have that. I know that Dawn and Kelly wouldn't. Not that they seem to care right now, but I'm just saying,
well, they could have looked at, I'm sure they could probably,
well, you didn't have a copy of it, I don't think.
But we didn't read, but whatever was read in here.
I'm
that-
sorry.
do you want to put your,
Well, whatever was read in here, whatever, if, meaning with your eyes read, and was fine, then I'm good for it to stay in black.
Yeah, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. I'm just saying from the perspective of people who've been on the board a while, that's what we had always seen.
I just think when they first sent it out, we split up the workload, right? We each had a few pages each and nobody had any complaints. So I feel like, why are we trying to go back to square one? I just don't see.
I feel like, I feel like Dan was just talking about
Because I called her.
the
name.
new things that were presented from who'd you say, Health Department and somebody else.
And land use.
And those are those in here in red line?
There,
Or not, they're not in this document,
Not yet.
not yet.
so the stuff that is from land, manager,
Yes.
the stuff that's from land use and from the health department are listed as land use requests 9.9.25. That's for today's committee meeting. That's what the date reflects. Health department 9.9.25 special meeting.
Okay,
So those items are there. They are not redlined.
but they are
They are,
not-
they are
but they're-
updated versions of what was in the original federal agenda that Smith Garson prepared earlier this year.
I
So-
see what you're saying. So you're wanting that to be redlined.
No, I just, as long, if it's a separate document.
You're not on.
I'm sorry. Go back, because she's been waiting a long
I've
time.
been sitting here.
But I'm just
They
saying
keep
that if in
referring
the
to each
same
other.
document, we're going over things, if they're, if some of it's old and some of it's new, just redline the new, that's all. If they present a whole page of new stuff, I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure that I know, okay, this is all new stuff, because obviously, if there's an agenda that was passed the previous year, and then our lobbyists come up with something new that doesn't include some of the stuff we had or add stuff, I want to know what that is.
Okay.
I want to know, where we were last year and what changes we're making this year, because ultimately we're making these decisions. And, I'm sorry, but.
No, that's fair. I'm gonna put her mic on. Go ahead, Member Berkowitz.
So I have a couple questions. First of all, this is not the way this process has been in place in the past. This is very confusing, very, very, very complicated, unnecessarily so. So I have a couple of comments and questions. Are all the input and all the suggestions from staff and anybody else in the county over? Has that period
Yes.
over?
That ended on the
So that is
26th.
officially over. Okay. You can't really close the discussion until it's officially over. So, what we did with the legislative agenda every year was we took the copy we got from Smith Garson. After he worked with the county executive, we had the changes and recommendations and they're only recommendations from the various departments prepared and ready. That federal agenda was not redlined. It was not redlined until the committee looked at the recommendations from staff and land use or whoever and discussed it and came to a consensus that, yes, we would like that added to the agenda to move forward to the full county board for discussion. Now we've got this red line, that red line. It's crazy. Okay. It's very, very difficult we should be looking at the federal agenda that came forward from the county executive and Smith Garson. That's the,
That's what
that
we're
is the
doing
Tintep. Okay. But so where's the red line from?
from us, from the members.
Okay. But we have not. So the other thing here is we need to take the time to look at all of these requests
Yes.
and talk about them.
Yes, that's what we're doing. It's literally why we're here.
All right, well, let's
Okay,
let's
I'm
move
gonna-
forward then. So make
Speaker
sure
Van Dyne, would
every
you like to-
committee member can comment on the
That's what we're
comments
doing.
that are brought forward. Okay.
Speaker Van Dyne.
Thank you. I just, my comment is this, I guess, people are always concerned about speaking, not getting their turn. Just give the respect to the chair. The chair usually recognizes people, and I know every chair on this board has always taken time to allow everybody to speak, maybe not in the order that you prefer. And I know we have other members that want to give up their time to somebody else, but it's a very hard job to do as a chair to try to keep this organized. So I'm just asking this committee, it seemed like it might have just went off the rails just a touch, and just please allow the chair to run the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I speak always? Member Bullock, would you like to comment?
No?
I'm sorry, your light was green. Go ahead.
So just to, in response to Member Berkowitz's concerns, essentially that, I think that's where we're really at. You have the base version, which is the version from Smith Garson and presumably all the all the contact they've had with various departments from the executive's office. That's there. It's under Federal Agenda 26, Smith Garson, first draft, 6/16/25. Member Berkowitz, that's kind of the starting point. That's the launching point. Everything else that comes after that, everything that's listed as 9/2, 9/9, 25, those are all proposed additions. The one thing that I don't have redlined are the land use requests and the health department requests from 9/9/25. And if you don't get to that today, I think with some work, I should be able to get some of those redlined to address some of the concerns of Member Butler by the next time we sit down to consider those. If that's adequate and if that's the chair's direction, I'm glad to do that, if that helps things.
Just when they're in the same document.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I know what's new on this.
All right, let's start discussing these red lines. We're gonna start with the invasive Asian carp, kind of the same format that we had last time, very informal. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and feel free to make those, and then we'll have a raise of your hand vote at the end. So Julie, would you like to speak on this since this is your addition?
You have to put your, yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Destiny. I don't really have any comments. I put this forward the last several years, tried to get it on the agenda, so I appreciate it being in there now. It is a matter of grave concern for our region, and so thank you for putting that on there. I appreciate it.
Thank you for submitting. Dan, did you have a comment?
Yeah, just so everybody knows,
Is that
that
a-
these Asian carps that were introduced to, I believe, power companies were using them to clean the vegetation off the grills to allow better ventilation for the plants. They have destroyed the habitat. They eat all the plants so that the other species can't, lay their eggs and the fry don't survive. And currently, I believe they're within 15 miles of Lake Michigan, and this could be devastating. So I'm really excited that we might get some help with this. People who like myself, who have fished in the Des Plaines River, it's no lie. They're spearfishing out there, and they say if you shoot a spear into the water and you don't come up with 2 fish, that there's something wrong with you. They have tankers out there that are pulling thousands of pounds of these out and selling them for animal feed. It's bad. This population is out of control. That they're jumping out of the water when they get spooked, and you could get hit with a 5-pound carp while you're, speeding along. So.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other comments, by a simple raise of hand, if you would like this to be included in the full board agenda, raise your hand now. All right, unanimous, that one passes. Perfect. Moving on to our next item, Regional Environmental Equity Study and Legacy Pollution. This is one that I put forward. This study targets federal resources to areas most impacted by historic industry. Improving public health and guiding clean infrastructure investment. There are federal efforts already integrated that already integrate regional environmental concerns, legacy pollution and equity, especially through tools like EJ Screen, federal research planning via NSTC, and targeted funding mandates like Justice 40. And there's also region-specific studies and initiatives such as the Great Lakes Cleanup, the GIS equity studies in Pittsburgh, and community-based work like that of the task force, all of which examine legacy pollution and equity in various ways. So this is just kind of bringing it to Romeoville and Joliet, where we've had historic insurmountable levels of pollution, and trying to really help to mitigate those so that we can have all of our communities thriving.
So my comment would be some changes to the wording.
Okay,
So instead of Will County proposes, we support a federal, regional, environmental, and legacy pollution study. So remove proposes, puts in supports.
okay,
Change federally supported to federal, regional, environmental, get rid of equity, and legacy pollution study to identify areas impacted by the historic. Here's the thing, we use words that are disproportionately impact with inequity, and the people who live in these areas change over time.
mhm,
So whoever lives there now didn't live there 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when they were impacted originally by the companies just dumping water into, dumping wastewater into the rivers, right?
mhm.
And 10, 15 years from now, we'll have different people. So for me, to make it totally nonpartisan and not divisive, if we make those changes, I think then I could support that.
Okay, does anyone else have any comments? Julie, I saw your light on first.
Yes, so what does legacy pollution mean?
Okay, I want to be so respectful of this, but I really do want you guys to come to this meeting prepared. If we have questions about definitions of words, I would
No,
please
if you
ask.
propose it, you should be able to
I
define it.
can, but
Okay.
I just feel like this is like really.
Okay, so let me continue then.
Okay, thank you.
I can assume what
Thank you so
legacy
much.
pollution means.
Thank you.
I don't think we need to take precious dollars and do more studies.
Okay.
As far as pollution, I grew up in Chicago, lived in the city, and we have a history of manufacturing. We have a history. You can follow that trend and understand why certain areas are the way they are, especially around the waterways when it was a different time when, our canals were used with me. But this is not something that I think is necessary in our legislative agenda. Again, it's broad. I don't think this specifically applies to county government. And I would recommend that everyone here go to the Will County Forest Preserve Joliet Iron Works. If you have any misconceptions about how this region was founded, go there. They have an incredible display. And it talks about the foundries, the smelting operations that are at the ironworks. And it talks about the people that built this region and the people who lost their lives, such as people from Ireland, people from China, people from Europe. These were all people who came here and worked, but you're talking about legacy pollution. People, overall people, we all as a whole have contributed and made our communities what they are. So my comment is that I think this is not relevant to county government. I don't see taking money for studies, money that we need to allocate to other things. And that's just my concern when I read this.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that perspective.
Did you want to speak?
Dan, would you like?
Yeah,
to-
I just wanted to also back up what Judy said. I don't mind, I live in areas where, there's some pollution and stuff, so I'm okay with that. Maybe we could apply some of this study next to the dump when they can pick up all the garbage around there. I just don't like the equity thing. I don't understand how that fits in that statement. I think that this is something that applies across the board, I personally. And I would like to see a lot more done about pollution, like as far as land, soil, water. So I'm good with it. Just that part, I would not support that word being in there.
Okay. Do we want to take a vote on Judy's suggestion of taking out
Amendment.
proposes, putting in supports, taking out equity? And just-
Vote on the item as it is first?
No, we're
Well,
voting on the
Judy
proposed
proposed an
amendment
amendment.
first. Right, that's what I'm talking about.
I will second that
Yes.
amendment.
Member Hickey.
Yeah.
Okay, just real quickly, it appeared Right, close enough. It appeared that regional environmental equity was kind of a trade phrase. I didn't see it written anyway. Am I interpreting that correctly? Because that's how I saw it when I looked it up. So it's just,
Yeah,
would taking the word equity out of it, change it?
not much. I
Okay,
mean,
okay,
yeah,
that's fine. I just want to make sure.
yeah, I'm fine with the proposal as well. I could agree with that.
repeat it?
Would-
Yes, I can. So remove the word equity in the title, obviously, as well. Then instead of Will County proposes, Will County supports,
Mhm.
we're not proposing. Instead of a federally supported, a federal, regional, environmental, and remove equity again, and legacy pollution study. To identify areas, remove the word disproportionately and say impacted by historic industrial activity. Because it can be everywhere. It can be. Doesn't matter what community or whatever.
Okay, everybody got that one? All right, raise your hand if you're okay with this amendment. All right, the ayes have it, so everyone's okay with that amendment. All right, let's talk about the original.
No, the amendment. We're
No,
talking about-
we just passed the amendment. Everybody raised their hand. They were in agreement. Now we're going to the,
No, then, because I thought we were gonna go to the amendment, the amended copy, and then vote on that.
That's
what
what we
we're
did.
doing. We're doing that right now.
We did. We just did that.
Well, we voted to add that amendment.
Correct.
To make the amendment. Now we're gonna have discussion.
Right. We haven't done that yet. Yeah.
Okay. All right, is everybody okay with the original one? If you are, raise your hand. The one as amended, the
As
one that
amended.
Judy proposed. All right, then that one passes.
So can I just say something?
Yes, of course.
So I think that when we're done with all of this, we're gonna look and see what we have.
Yes.
And then determine, because we need to make sure that everything we put in, these are suggestions, right? Everything we put in relates to Will County and how it impacts Will County, that we want our lobbyists to go to Springfield, DC and support. And we need to also make sure that it isn't 700 pages long.
Mhm.
So we should look at it again to say, all right, well, you know what? The one here that says nobody should drink green juice, that doesn't matter. Take it
Mhm.
out. Because otherwise we may have something that's too large. And the reason why invasive Asian carp wasn't added in the past was because Will County has nothing to do with it. EPA does, things like that. We can support it, but we chose not to because we had so much to go forward as it was. We wanted to bring forward the really important items to have the focus in DC beyond those. Now, not that Asian carp aren't important but we felt that other organizations and agencies were bringing that issue forward. That was why we chose that decision.
Okay.
And just maybe a quick kind of reminder of our last kind of format from the last meeting. The conversations are informal, so to speak, and these are just straw polls. So
Right.
that Member Ogala proposed an amendment and said, I can support this with these amendments. Member Butler said, yeah, I'm kind of good with that. And then the chair says, everybody good with that? And pretty much everybody says, yeah, they're good. And then, Member Berkowitz says, no, I'm not. That kind of
Fine.
would be kind of the end of the discussion unless someone wants to, again, what we're trying to do is focus on, if you're against something and you can't support it, you're against it. If you're for something and you can support it, you're for it. What we're looking for is to kind of focus our conversations on where things would need an amendment, right? And discussions like what Member Ogala just brought up today, so.
Thank you. All right, moving on, we have the expanded federal environmental justice grants. I brought this forward because I believe that more grant funding helps to mitigate pollution and protect vulnerable neighborhoods, including improving health incomes countywide. So expanding federal EJ grants means cleaner air, cleaner water where it's needed most, more resilient communities facing climate change, fair economic development with jobs and ownership opportunities for working families, and restored trust that the government can be a partner in solving longstanding injustices. So do we have any comments? Any proposed amendments?
I actually like this one,
Okay,
just the
perfect.
way it is.
All right, seeing none, hearing none, I would,
So because. the
member
Justice-
Richmond?
Justice 40 guidelines, with all that.
So I just have one comment. I think that Justice 40 initiative was revoked in January 2025.
This one doesn't mention Justice 40 at all. That was the previous one.
Oh,
Or
oh,
maybe two.
is it two more down? I apologize.
Well, environmental justice, it almost makes you think Justice 40 when they're talking about that.
I know I talked about that somewhere, but it's not in this one. Is
I'm sorry, it's in the renewable fuel standards and that.
Okay with that.
that up?
I guess that one doesn't bother me
can't
because
find
in poorer neighborhoods, they are.
It's a,
They do have a
what
lot
Tim
more
has on the
garbage.
screen, it's that bottom bullet.
Oh, it's
there.
the next one. It's the
Yeah,
next
I'm
one.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know the two were tied
Kinda
together
give
or that, so just wanted to point that out.
Okay, thank you.
Because the next one, I'm not gonna be.
All right, all of those in favor of supporting this addition, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, majority has it. Moving on to renewable fuel standards. Okay, a strong renewable fuel standard drives renewable energy investment. It supports green jobs. It ensures the county benefits from a stable, clean energy market, which is why I brought it forward. As Member Richmond mentioned, Justice 40, it was a federal initiative, and it requires that at least 40% of the benefits from certain federal investments like climate, clean energy, housing, water, transportation, etc., flows to disadvantaged communities that are overburdened by pollution and underinvested in infrastructure. So the program is administered across multiple agencies like the DOE, the EPA, DOT, and HUD, and it's closely tied to tools like the EPA's EJ screen that identify communities facing the greatest cumulative burdens. So if federal policy leans too heavy on RNG, this is my opinion, utilities and developers may underinvest in renewables and storage, delaying the transition away from fossil fuels. So basically the old wording is just saying like strong fuel rules are good for markets, and the new wording says that it actually means for us cleaner air, more local jobs, a clear step and clear steps for the county. And before anyone asks, decarbonization just means that it's using cleaner energy instead of dirty fuel.
We're on renewable fuel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so there's a couple things I don't like about this.
Okay.
Emphasizes that clean energy investments must also prioritize solar and wind. We are in court fighting solar companies right now, okay? And solar is not going to be the way of the future. Germany was the leader. They found that out. That's why they're cutting down all their forests right now, trying to, stay warm. And I just think that it sends a mixed message, we can't, be fighting it in court and then supporting it, I think we need to be clear about that. And a lot of the subsidies that were being promised in the past are no longer going to be promised. So this is not a path forward. And both sides, Democrat and Republican administrations, have already said that solar is not going to support what's coming. And that's going to have to be modular nuclear. Okay. And honestly, I'm not even sure if I like that. I think we should all just, take a step back, personally. But I think we need to remove the solar and wind. And what was this? Climate strategies. That it scares the hell out of me. Are we talking about sulfur dioxide being pumped into the atmosphere? I mean, the minister for the EPA just said that they're dumping all this sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere right now. And some of it was government funded, and private corporations are spending billions of dollars doing this. I mean, I don't know if you've heard this, but there is a push to create in the atmosphere, a reflective layer to reflect the sun's rays. So when you say climate strategies, does it include that? And there was somewhere else in there makes another statement that kind of hints to the same thing. So I don't like that either. I mean, honestly, I'm going to say it. Carbon dioxide is a building block of life. So I'm not buying into all this other stuff. It is required for life on this planet. And at the rate that we have it now, in our past, we've had 15 to 20 times higher levels of carbon dioxide. And right now at 0.004, that is just enough to inhibit plant growth. At 0.002, plant growth begins to die back. So, you know, there are other things. When you burn fuel, before they had, what is the, in the muffler system?
Catalytic converter.
What is it?
Catalytic.
Catalytic converters. Before
gets
catalytic
clear.
converters, you had carbon monoxide, but now you have carbon dioxide, okay? And basically you're getting CO2 and water vapor, okay? There is a small amount of nitric oxide and stuff, which is harmful, but that is just a fraction of the CO2. So yeah, I'm not for any of that.
Thank you for that perspective. I would just like to say that the redlined, crossed out sentence, the first one, that was put forward by Land Use Department. I'm pretty sure, because when I went, I went back in their additions that they sent over, and that was the first sentence. So I was the one who crossed it out. That sentence was actually put forward by Land Use. So I would entertain if somebody wants to just, you know, if the committee doesn't support this and we want to just go back to the first one that's crossed out and just have that included, I just want to let everybody know about that. Ms. Berkowitz?
Okay, thank you. So the first sentence that's crossed out, I would absolutely support that. And the reason why land use came forward with that very, very clear statement in one sentence, brief, clear, precise, is because our RNG plant is consistently losing money. So that's why they brought that forward. It makes sense. I can understand it. Now, the rest of it, everything else, I had to look into this Justice 40 guidelines. This apparently was an executive order from the 2021 Biden administration. Now, here's the thing. The facts are that our RNG is losing money, and that's why land use brought this forward. So that makes sense. However, in order to have the energy we need, our demand for this area, this region, we need nuclear. It isn't going to be wind. It isn't going to be solar. They can't give us and produce the amount of energy we need. This energy is intermittent. Nuclear is consistent. And that is, we went to a county conference where they told us we need nuclear. That's what we need. We all sat there and listened to the same thing. And they said the only thing that's going to satisfy the demand for power today and in the future is if we construct, and I believe they mentioned 2 nuclear plants in this area. So because of that, I basically I don't support this paragraph. However, if you want to just bring forward that one sentence, I would support that one sentence because I understand why land use brought it forward. And yeah, we're losing money every month. We ask them, you know, I've asked them several times, can you get solar to maybe bring down that $1 million electric bill? And they say they can't, but I would support that one sentence, that first sentence, and then the rest of the paragraph, I can't support. Thank you.
I think what your request was, do you support going back to the original? And my understanding would be the original would be
So I can use that.
reinserted.
All right, so thank you for that perspective, Julie. Kelly, did you want to speak?
Just real quickly, and I was trying to look through the minutes here and I'm not finding where we had it, but I thought that there were at least a couple of months where we were breaking even with the RNG plant in the last couple of presentations. That's what I recall. I'm sorry.
Well, but I mean, that's a separate point, but I think we can all agree that the RNG plant, I would support it. Would everybody support that line in here? Because I would.
So
What did you
The
say?
first, the first
first
line that
line,
they took
that-
out,
yeah.
you know, because the RNG market demand, I mean, I would like that, put back in there.
Actually, I was just asking Dave about that. So actually, he's probably got a little bit better update in regards to the position that the RNG plan is in. But we initially spent, I don't know, what was it, $40 million to build it or something like that? I thought it was the exact figures.
50 some.
We've lost 50 some. We lost $2.5 million, I think, two years in a row. I'm rounding a little bit. So we're at $5 million net loss right now. But he said that they're projecting hopefully to break even this year. So, I mean, it has cost the taxpayers money, a considerable amount of money for us to get to break even just on this year. So, again, I'm not saying it's not a valid investment, but it's an investment that's cost our taxpayers quite a bit of money over the past couple of years. So
Right, and the expectation was we would break even sooner, but
from what I heard is yeah, within like the first year or 2 years, they were supposed to be making millions of dollars.
thank you so much. Can we, someone
We-
from
we
the
sh-
land use
Yeah,
department
we
come up and
shouldn't,
speak?
we shouldn't
Dan.
neglect the fact that the plant is making a lot of money paying back those bonds, even though it might not be reaching its. It's still, if we didn't have it, we'd be paying that money back.
Thank you for joining us. If you could just
Sure.
give us a very brief comment on your expert opinion, we would really appreciate it.
I was just saying, most importantly, we need to make sure the RFS or Renewable Fuel Standard program is protected.
Okay.
That we do keep that in place so that we can essentially protect the revenue we are generating.
Okay.
And page 39 was what the county actually, or our division actually provided for the RFS program.
Okay.
Because this text in black here on that you're looking at has outdated information in it.
Okay.
As it's mentioning 2023, 25. So if you look at our submission has updated text in it, which really should be, in our opinion, adopted.
Perfect.
And so that we encourage the federal government to increase the goals for RIN production because they're looking back and seeing what we have, what the previous volume or demand has been and using that to go forward. We need them to increase that a little bit, to increase the RINs so the county can realize more revenue from that part of it.
Okay.
So we are better at making the revenue that we originally projected and had hoped to generate.
Perfect. Judy, if I may, can I please go first? Thank you so much. As someone who put this forward, I would like to remove it because I believe that the land use department did their work. They've submitted their own proposal regarding this exact thing. So I would like this removed. Can I do that or do we have to vote?
It's it's your.
Raise your hand if you want it removed.
Wait a minute, there's a discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so just so we're clear. That once something's proposed to the committee, it belongs to the committee,
Mhm.
okay? And if we're gonna vote on something, okay, so why would we take,
Because everybody's
This-
discussing the removal of it. That's why.
yeah, but there's people that want it on there. We want to support our RNG. So why would we take it off? Are we saying we don't want to
This-
support it?
Because they have submitted, I'm sorry, let me clear that up. So they have submitted their additions. It was attached in the email that Chuck sent out to us
5 pages.
a few days ago. No, it was in the attached additions that he sent from workforce, from land use, from health department. If you read those attachments, you would have seen the additions that the land use put forward. And in those additions, this renewable fuel standard was covered heavily. They actually have graphs in there. They talk about exactly what they want in there. So if we remove this, it's not removing it from the whole thing because we still have to talk about the additions that they brought forward the additions that the health department brought forward. So all I'm saying is remove the suggestions I put so that we can adopt these suggestions that they have put forward.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Perfect.
If I
Yes.
may.
Yes.
We did have the county's RNG consultant, who's nationwide expert on this, did draft that language
Perfect.
that we provided and pushed forward.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you so much. So
So again, that's on the 9.9925 proposals then, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, that's fine. I'm looking.
Julie, did you have a comment that you wanted to make?
I just wanted to say that I'm looking at, you mentioned page 39, Dave, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at page, it's a 2 of 5. So I think that's on our document, it's on page 2. But, and this is an incredible, description and I appreciate all this information. I think in the actual agenda though, we need to keep it relatively brief. Putting all of this information would be a little bit too much. So I think that first sentence, that says it all. It's very to the point.
And that
So-
sentence is in their new
Thank
proposed
you.
additions. I would just like to say for the comments that are saying we don't want to do it too long, I appreciate that. My proposal is going to be that we do come up with a 1-2 pager. It's kind of like how we have our budget book. It's 500 pages long, but then the county executive presents us with a clear 2 pager, tells you exactly what's in there. If you want to read all the details, then you can go into the book. But I think that's probably where we're going to be headed. So I'm not really worried about the length of it per se.
Just to be clear, so we're striking all the red for now.
The whole thing.
And the
whole
black,
thing.
the whole thing,
Whole thing.
okay.
Right.
Yes.
Because
wanna
there's
be clear on
another, there's another section that we'll deal with, right?
Okay.
Section doesn't go away.
Right.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna skip over, that includes the other one, right directly below it. Recognizing the strong RFS program that is also connected. Yes. Okay, thank you.
So that
Moving-
one is on 2 then, correct?
Yes, these two. This one is gone and
The
this
renewable
one.
fuel standard and
Will County recognizes the.
You need
the
microphone.
significance, okay.
To remain.
Yes.
Most of that is in that new section.
We've got 7 more minutes. I really don't want to though. Medicaid coverage and expansion. So the health department actually submitted a request with similar language after I did read their proposal. So I did just want to make that clear. They said for several years Medicaid was expanded to include care for seniors and new immigrants, and however that funding ceased, Will County supports reinstituting this Medicaid coverage to increase access to care and limit the use of hospitals and emergency rooms for critical populations. So just like we did with the one before, I would be completely fine with taking this out. It's because, again, it's going to be mentioned when we go over the proposals that the health department came forward, and yes, they've done a much better job than I have of writing it. So, okay, perfect. So I don't even think I need a hand raise for that one. That one will be removed and we'll revisit that when we discuss the health department.
So the 340B program is removed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Makes sense.
yes,
Okay.
And then we'll look at it.
perfect.
Makes sense in their words.
Yes. God, I don't even know if I should start this one. It's long.
It is long.
Yes, protecting core human services. All right. I don't believe. Would someone from the health department want to come up and speak to this one? I'm not sure that this was mentioned in the health department, but if you would like to provide some type of expertise opinion, this is basically just saying programs like Head Start, SNAP, Pell Grants, safeguard working families, seniors, and children as costs rise. and our residents depend on these programs every day. So cuts at the federal level land directly on Will County families. So it's our job to advocate for them. So this wasn't in before. It's something that I added just because these programs like Head Start, food assistance, after school care, they're what keeps families in our county stable. And so without them, kids, seniors, working families would struggle more. So the new section just says these programs matter here, cuts would hurt, and we want the federal government to protect and invest in them. Is there any questions, comments? Of course. Ms. Berkowitz.
Thank you, Destiny. So all of these proposals come at the expense of the taxpayer. Taxpayers have to pay the taxes, which in turn are distributed through these programs. The taxpayers I know can't pay anymore. So I appreciate the goal, but at the end of the day, we have to talk about what's happening to the population that's out there working, paying taxes. That would be residents, that would be business owners. What's happening to them? We cannot take any more money from them. So I am completely on board that we have to help other people, and we do have programs. We have very robust programs. I know DuPage County does, Will County does. So I just, to go and ask the federal government for more money is just taking money from us because we all pay federal taxes. So whether we're giving our money to the county, to the state of Illinois, or the federal government, it's coming out of our pocket. So I don't know. And if it needs to be expanded, then let's see the data. Let's see how many people in Will County are receiving this assistance. Let's see, if it mentions immigration here. I do know we have to have an open and frank discussion that with the changes in the global world, changes with AI's bringing forward, the computer science industry is decimated, the finance industry is decimated, and we need to think about the demand for jobs. I'm meeting college graduates that have computer science degrees and finance, and the market doesn't sustain those jobs anymore because of the global changes in the world. And they're working at Mariano's in different places. This is all a part of the big picture. So again, whenever we go to the federal government and ask for more money, we have to realize that ultimately it's only coming out of our pocket. Thank you.
Member Bullock.
So, two certain things in life, death and taxes. We will always pay taxes, and I want my tax money to get used. Because if you're taking it from me, it needs to get used. I also don't want us to sit here and say that the people receiving benefits out of any of these programs do not pay taxes, because they do. You're saying, what I understood from what you said was that we are paying the taxes for programs that are helping people, and you never said anything about the fact that those people are also paying taxes.
This isn't a back and forth.
So I want to just say that I realize that everyone is paying taxes because that's what we do. And I want my money used. I don't want my money saved. I don't want you to save money off of my taxes. You're never going to lower my taxes. They're going to stay what they are. So whatever money you take from me, I want you using it for the betterment of the people who need the help. And the fact that I don't need help doesn't mean that I don't want my money going to help people who do need help. By the grace of God, I don't need assistance right now. Someday I might. Someday, the difference between me paying my rent might be going to a food bank to get some food. And then I can actually pay my rent that month. We have Normal, everyday people need assistance, period.
Member Williams.
I agree with what Member Bullock just said. Also, I believe that as the government elected official, part of our duty is to provide services for those that may need those services. And I hope that we're not suggesting that we cut any of those services because taxes, the taxes that are paying for them, we don't want to pay. Again, like death and taxes are certain, and we're not here just to save taxpayers from paying taxes. That's not the only role that we have. Part of that role is protecting the people that we represent. And by giving these services, I think that does that. So we are here to provide those services as well as use our tax money wisely. Thank you.
So I just wanted to say, I think this, for me, this is okay. A lot of words, we want to make it a little bit shorter if we can somehow. 'Cause that's a whole page. My only proposed change would be in the, after the bullet points before the next section would be proposed cuts to these programs would harm children, seniors, and people with disability. I don't think we have to say disproportionately. I think that's a political word. I would just say remove that. I think that we urge them to, here's the thing. We want to make sure that the money that we put in is spent well. And I think that when things went through, when we had Elon Musk going through and looking at things where there were abuse, that's what's bad. And I think everyone can agree, we want to make sure that they're given to the people who need them, not, because, you know, there's so much corruption in the world. It's terrible. And then like, let's look at SNAP, for instance. When I worked at Jewel back in, boy, a long time ago when I was 16, you couldn't purchase junk food with SNAP, okay? And now they can purchase many things, but you couldn't purchase junk food with SNAP. I'm sorry, you could purchase junk food with SNAP. Now you can't. Not back then you couldn't, now you can, but you couldn't get paper products with SNAP, which made no sense to me. You know, like toilet paper, diapers, feminine products, you couldn't purchase that. That was kind of an odd thing. So I think going back to providing basics and food, the right, you know, good food makes sense to give them that rather than, and not allowing some junk food. We have to look at that because they can go to a food pantry and get other things that are available. If you go to food pantry, there's chips and everything like there. So supplement that gets donated all the time. So my only suggestion is just remove the word disproportionately, and then I'm happy supporting it.
Not the whole graph, just disproportionately?
Yeah, and then maybe if we could shrink it somehow.
Okay.
And I'm not saying we do that today, but you know, shrinking is later, right?
Member
Because we have to look at the whole thing again. So.
Member Hickey.
I get not liking the word disproportionately, but the fact of the matter is that these are the vulnerable populations that are affected more.
And we said that, right?
And so I do think that it's, you know, it's worth keeping in. I also want to say, I don't think you can buy paper products with SNAP to this day.
Right,
I
isn't
think
that
that
crazy?
you have to, I think with TAMP, you can for some things, but I know I've had several diaper drives because you cannot purchase
That's a
diaper
problem.
product. It is a problem. And if you would like to expand the amount of money that we spend on SNAP, I'm sure that there would be plenty of people that would be ready to use that. So
So that's why I'm saying cutting the waste in it when people are getting SNAP. I worked with people. I worked with people who were working full-time jobs. They knew how to work the system. And they were also on SNAP. So there's waste out there. There's fraud.
working poor as well. So,
working
you know, if
poor.
we paid a living wage for people to do the jobs, then we would not have
I don't
to
know.
have all
I
of this.
personally,
So it's
what
us
is a living
against
wage?
the
What
the
is
billionaires.
What is a living
Judy,
wage?
Judy.
No, well, she
Can
brought
you,
it up.
well, can you, I
What
don't
is a
want to
living
back and
wage?
forth. She should be allowed to speak and say her piece, and then we should go on to the other members.
A living wage is what it takes to raise a family in it, you know, to have the basic necessities. And we're not providing that currently. We have not upped, you know, minimum wage in this country in a long, long time.
Mr. Butler.
So, I get it, we all pay taxes and the money should go back to take care of the people. And I'm 100%. But, on a big scale, when you live in a country with a welfare system, you cannot have open borders and have a welfare system. It just doesn't happen because it doesn't work. So you have to be very conscious of how that money's spent so you can take care of the people that you're supposed to be representing.
Mhm.
So I can be okay with a lot of this stuff. I just, the whole LGBTQ,
I don't think we're on there yet.
is that all part of this thing?
No, that's not.
Of
We're
that
not
the
there yet.
paragraph? I thought it was all this section we were voting
No,
on.
we're like, that's 3 bullet points.
It's a
That's-
different bullet
yeah.
point.
Okay, we're going one bullet point. I'll save that for
Thank
that
you.
bullet point.
Thank you so much. Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Destiny. So I just want to make it clear, I'm not saying I don't support this. I do. I support it. It's necessary. But what I'm saying is as elected official who we vote on 3 tax levies. We need to listen to what people are saying out there, and what our taxpayers are telling us. I was wondering, I thought that, I wanted to just make a suggestion that I thought that this might, to me, it would be a little more fluid if we moved this behind infrastructure and land use so that and public safety, so that it came right before the health department. Like, I'm trying to, hold on a second here. Where did the health department go?
I've been told, Julie, that these are not in a particular order yet. So I think we
Okay,
can discuss
so could we
that.
just kind of consider, keeping that close to that? Because to me, it seems it's related and
Flows
it's
better.
more fluid. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, all right. Member Freeman.
Thank you, Chair Ortiz. I sit on the Human Health and Education with NACO, and I am very excited to see these things listed here because these are all things that NACO has passed as well. And with counties supporting their NACO agendas, just kind of gets the message across that these things are important. SNAP is important. ESL programs are important. And I'm just happy to see that this is here. Thank you.
Thank you for your
I think
comments.
everybody thinks they're important.
Okay, so let's first consider the amendment that Judy has proposed on taking out the word disproportionate. If any of you members are in favor, please raise your hand now. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
3,
that's it.
4. All right, that's majority.
So again, just so we're clear, everybody was kind of agreeing that they support this section with the removal of
Yeah, I
disproportionate.
support it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
We
right,
want to take care of those who need to be taken care of,
perfect.
not spend money on. other
Okay,
stuff.
great. I am going to say that was a very productive meeting, guys. We went through like almost twice as much as we did last time, so good job. Almost.
No,
We did the whole thing.
He kind of asked.
Yeah.
amendment. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, then I should have, count me as a yes.
I was a yes too. We were in the same boat.
I know everyone, yeah. I feel it coming out of me, but.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yes.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna move on in the agenda. We're gonna stop there for federal legislative agenda. I would entertain a motion to remove this discussion on developing the state legislative agenda. I feel like I want to get through the federal first and then we can go on to the state. What do you
You
think?
can just, yeah, I would.
I mean, are
they I think you can just leave it on there, and just not address it till you're ready to address it.
I just leave them on just in case
Just leave them on.
you guys.
So I just skip it or?
you can skip it.
Yeah, just,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
moving
been
on.
skipped. Moving on. Other old business, seeing none, hearing none. New business, I have none. Anyone else has new business? Hopefully not. Announcements by the chair. Oh, I'm sorry, public comment.
Oh, no, just yes.
Anybody here wishing to make a comment? Once, twice? Public comments, announcements by the chair. I have none. Would you like to?
Yeah, I'd just like to ask, so the things that land use and the health department suggested, can I get a paper copy of that?
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Okay. No need for executive session. With that, I will
It's in
entertain
there.
a
It's
motion
in
to
there.
adjourn.
Motion, second, O'Gala.
E,
So
until, oh, I'm
The
sorry.
next regular.
When
Do we
is,
need to do like another?
You guys have a lot of ground. kind of
That's
covered.
I'm sorry. Before we adjourn, can we set up another special meeting?
It's up to you. I mean, we can see where we are at the next legislative.
I'm afraid that if we wait too long, we're not gonna be able to get through the state legislative agenda. I think we should do one in like every week until we get through this.
That's good. How about maybe,
2 weeks?
it's up to you. You know, yeah.
2 weeks? That's fine with me, 2 weeks.
I'm not,
Okay.
Allow more time, maybe instead of a 1 hour meeting,
But whatever they pick, as Dan Butler pointed out when I got here, he had already been here 2 hours.
Right,
So if you have a committee prior to that.
right. That's what's the problem. I think that's what's the problem with our legislative committees is that we have, and especially finance during budget season, like people are already here 6 hours before we
I'm
start.
not available. Got to babysit one day and I'm out of town. I'm out of town next week and that's what we did this week. And I babysit on the 23rd. I'm available for the 30th. I mean, that doesn't mean everyone has to go. of course.
So it's been suggested to me that the county board doesn't really favor meetings in those last
Okay,
couple of weeks post, the county board meeting. But if this committee is willing to do that to keep things moving forward, I'll certainly get everything,
And you guys meet
slated
other
for
times
that.
without
yeah.
me. I just can't make
I
it.
mean, is that 30 right before 1?
Yes.
Suggestion.
That's
that
well, our
Wednesday.
meeting isn't until the 7th.
Make it on the same day as the stormwater committee.
When
Which
is
is-
that?
Which is what day?
It's usually a Thursday.
Thursday?
But if you could check that because.
The first is a Wednesday. So we'll be here on the 2nd for Forest
When's
Preserve.
I don't know. I'm gonna look.
Okay. So you want to meet on the 30th? I'm free any day. Are you guys free on the 30th or anytime before then? Check your calendars.
We don't see stormwater on here. I don't
How
know.
about Chuck? Would you be,
Tim just brought up a good idea.
yes,
Mhm.
please suggest.
Was it?
We might do Thursday, October 2nd. There are already meetings. We're already in that cycle on that. And I believe what we have on that day typically would be.
Short.
Sure. Well, it would be public health and safety, am I correct? Which would be your, and land use.
Short meeting.
Oh, it's
2
public
hours.
health and safety and
Yeah.
land use.
Public
Land
health and
use.
safety and land use.
Where's
Land use is never,
It's
Land
at
use-
9.
land-
It's
well,
at
and you're on land use. Yeah.
never short.
Yeah, okay. All right, I take it back.
Again, I'm not the only one. So you, Chuck, that's the, if everyone else could do it, well, who's on, Dawn is on.
What
land
do you
use.
asking?
Can
Dawn
we,
is on land use. Are you on land use? And her.
Yeah.
So there's.
So
three.
there you go. That kind of,
Is that what you're asking?
no, that might not,
No,
I wouldn't suggest that.
Could be in the middle of.
that might not be a good idea.
We have to have lunch.
I mean, I can be bought by food.
Right.
You can
Joe
buy
just
lunch.
won't give us food. He's mean.
So do we want to do the 16th or the 23rd? That's next Tuesday or 2 Tuesdays from now?
10 to 12 finance next.
Yeah, 16th is the special finance committee meeting.
Okay, probably not. Or
The
maybe,
18th is county board. And then the following week is kind of the county board's off week.
well, I have to come in that week for stormwater.
Is it that week?
It's the last week.
Wednesday is that?
That's the Thursday, the 25th, stormwater.
So,
It's at 10 in the morning.
so member Butler has suggested Thursday, the 25th then as well. That's stormwater is that day. Both you and Destiny are there.
Yes,
Do we want to slate for, it's 10 o'clock, you want to slate for 11 o'clock on that day?
that'd be perfect.
Is that reasonable? Thursday, the
25th.
25th?
Fast, is it?
Thursday, the 25th?
What time?
11.
I could do it.
Good, good. All right. Good.
I second the motion to adjourn.
All right, perfect. We stand adjourned until
Now Dawn is out of it.
September the 25th at 11.
It was, oh, did you, 11? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.